The red-hot Iona Gales look to pick up their 20th win of the season this afternoon as they roll into Jersey City to take on the St. Peter's Peacocks. And with that, we welcome you courtside inside Run Baby Run Arena alongside championship coach Daryl Jacobs. I'm Joe Vasile, and Iona comes into this game with a one-game lead with 5 games left to go in the season. Daryl, it doesn't get any better than this going into March, does it?
Yeah, perfect stride for them right now. They're winners of 6 in a row, trying to lock up that regular season title, get the #1 seed in the conference tournament. The Peacocks are looking to find their groove this afternoon. Let's see what happens.
It should be interesting. Iona in first place. They've been led by Nelly Jr. Joseph this year, one of the best mid-major players in the nation.
Joe, he's coming off a monster game of 12 points and 7 rebounds in their victory over Manhattan on Friday. He scores inside with either hand. He's very active on the offensive glass. He's a tremendous shot blocker. The Gale would need his consistency this afternoon.
Meanwhile, it's been a couple of down games in a row for Isaiah Dasher in terms of getting opportunities, but he's going to have to show up big today.
Yeah, he leads them in scoring at 14 a game, Joe, in three-point shooting. He's been the most consistent offensive player on the season. He can take you off the bounce, score from the mid-range, and knock down the three. They're going to need his leadership as well as a big game for him this afternoon.
Tail of the tape of 2 of the best players in the conference leading these respective teams. Nelly Jr. Joseph has really been a force for Iona since coming in. Isaiah Dasher blossoming this year for the St. Peter's Peacocks. And Daryl, should be a lot of fun to see the 2 contrasting styles. Iona likes to play very up-tempo. St. Peter's has played a lot more down-tempo this season, but has started to play a little bit faster as of late.
Well, for the Peacocks, it's about physicality today. They got to be very physical with the Gales, and they also have to score the basketball. Think about this, Joe. The first time these teams met in a 73-55 victory over the Peacocks only have 1 fast break point compared to the Gales 16, so that's going to be telling in this afternoon ball game.
And that was a game up at the Heinz Center in New Rochelle where Iona beat St. Peter's at its own game. They out-rebounded them 42-31 in that contest. As you get a look at Rick Pitino, his 3rd season now with the Gales, 2-time national champion, winner of over 825 games as a head coach.
And I know him well.
Legendary Rick
Absolutely.
Pitino.
He's taken 3 different schools to the Final Four in Brashear Mason.
Brashear Mason looking to help lead this Peacocks team toward a strong finish in his first year at St. Peter's after a great run at Wagner College on Staten Island.
One of the up-and-coming young coaches in the country, Joe. So the old against the new along the New York City skyline.
Halftime here at Run Baby Run Arena. Iona with a 37-23 lead over the St. Peter's Peacocks. Joe Vasile alongside Daryl Jacobs here today. This is part of DEI weekends at St. Peter's University, diversity, equity, and inclusion. And if you watch a lot of St. Peter's basketball, you know Daryl for being a great coach, being a great analyst. I don't know, he's also the executive director of Rising Coaches. And Daryl, I wanted to ask you a little bit more about that organization and your work with that and what they do within this sport.
Well, Rising Coaches is the largest coaching association in America. We have coaches ranging from the NBA, WNBA, college, high school, and grassroots basketball. The Rising Coaches DE Alliance, Joe, is made up of 12 minority coaches organizations. We understand nothing unites people better than sports. Equality and inclusion in college basketball is a national campaign throughout the month of February in college basketball. Our goal is to keep the fight for equality and inclusion in the national spotlight. During this campaign, Joe, we ask coaches to wear all black, as well as our equal lapel pins that we send to all the different Division I and men and women basketball programs during the campaign, as well. But also, in addition to that, we encourage the schools to highlight racial equality, LGBTQ rights, gender equality, financial literacy, and an empowerment within your community as well. Last season, Joe, we had over 150 men and women basketball programs to participate around the country, and we're expecting more this year. So just like the Coaches versus Cancer, we look for this campaign to be part of the fabric of college basketball in this community.
Absolutely, and 150 last year, more this year. Just sounds so great. If you've noticed a lot of St. Peter's coaches, a lot of people in the stands dressed in all black today, that's why. And how did Rising Coaches get founded, and how did you get involved in it?
Well, Rising Coaches was founded actually 12 years ago.
Okay, so it's relatively new.
Relatively new. The CEO, Adam Gordon, of course, my vice president of men's basketball is Brian Burton, and the vice president of women's basketball is Kim Hampton.
Oh, wow.
Also, yes, on that side as well. And I actually interviewed Adam during the pandemic, and he asked me right afterwards, hey, would you like to be a part of me trying to get a movement going with quality inclusion in college basketball? And what the initiative does is provide the minority coaches organization that we deal with, those coaches they recommend as the next and up-and-coming coaches. We provide them access to decision makers such as search firms and athletic directors, which some of them serve on my board of directors for Rising Coaches. So it's been a tremendous thing that we're doing, and most importantly, we have the buy-in from the leadership of Rising Coaches.
Real quick before we got to throw it to break, where can people find out more about Rising Coaches? What's kind of the website?
Well, you can go to www.risingcoaches.com or www.risingcoaches.com/DE Lions and find out exactly all the initiatives and everything that we're doing. A great organization to join if you're looking to network your way into college basketball as well as get some professional development. We're the place for you.
Iona up on St. Peter's. More come up at halftime. Darryl, thanks for spending some time talking a little bit about Rising Coaches.
You got it, Joe.
Back inside Run Baby Run Arena at the Yanatelli Center. Iona with a big lead over St. Peter's halfway through this Sunday contest with just a handful of games left to go across the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference this season. 2 more weekends of basketball to play. Entering today, Darryl, Iona with a 1-game lead over Ryder for first place. Siena nipping at the heels. Niagara and Quinnipiac in the mix. With Rich Enser going out at the end of this year, I feel like there's no more fitting tribute than for there to be 5 teams all bunched at the top of the MAC with 4 games left to play.
And you know what? They're playing right as we speak right now. We'll talk about that in the next segment, looking at the scores and everything. But as you can see right here, what better way for teams to come down fighting for that regular season championship, Joe, and potentially the top 2 seeds getting a bye in the first round of the MAC tournament. I love it. This is time of year, college basketball at its best.
Certainly is. So many things still to get sorted out over the next couple of weeks as Iona in the driver's seat looking to win its 2nd straight MAC regular season championship, and Ryder with the strong play this year.
The Bronx are playing great basketball. Kevin Baggett, Coach Baggett has done a great job turning around. Of course, Siena, them Saints with Coach Carm is always in the mix. But one of the surprise teams is Niagara. Those Purple Eagles, led by Greg Polis, is right there. Quinnipiac got off to a great start. I think 6-0 in the lead, as well. Fairfield is a tough out. Manhattan is another tough out as well. And then you have those Peacocks. And then you have first-year member Mount St. Mary's. And, of course, Canisius could beat anybody on any given day. And, of course, Marist sits at the bottom of the conference.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun week down in Atlantic City. Some of the scores from around the conference. All these games at halftime. Canisius up on Mount St. Mary's. Manhattan, a low-scoring game with Fairfield. Ryder and Quinnipiac. How about that one? Just knotted right up. That's one that the Iona fans have a big eye on, how that's going to shake out today. And then Niagara and Marist in a tough one up in Poughkeepsie at McCann. How about that? That would be a huge one for the Red Foxes if they can take down Niagara and play a little bit of spoiler late in the Purple Eagles season.
No doubt about it. Well, conference time, no matter your standings in the conference, Joe, on any given day, particularly, I'm going to quote the movie, on any given Sunday, you can knock somebody off in this conference.
Well, like they say, basketball's a game of inches, Darryl. 37-23, Iona in front at halftime. Back with more next. Back inside Run Baby Run Arena in Jersey City. Iona with a 37-23 lead over St. Peter's alongside Darryl Jacobs. Joe Vasile with you here today. And Darryl, it's been honestly a very one-sided first half with Iona taking the lead early and never really letting up.
That's correct, Joe. From the start, the Peacocks struggled to score the basketball, was getting some decent looks. You see right there, So gets called for a travel right there. And then there's Jenkins turning the corner right there. Cannot allow him to get down the lane like that. This is one of the few tough moves right there by Dasher finishing inside. Another great pass right there. Cardacci knocking down the 3-point shot right there. And this, you watch Nelly Joseph Jr. backing down. Grown man move right there. Able to get deep and finish in the lane. And that's Shimmer knocking down the mid-range right there. The Gales got some good open looks in the first half. As you see Murray right there with the teardrop. Here we're going to look at the stats.
St. Peter's really struggled shooting the basketball. in the first half. I mean, those three-point shooting numbers, 3 of 16, they had looks, and that's the thing. They had some good looks. It's not like they were shooting a lot of bad shots. They just weren't going down.
Just wasn't going down for them, as you mentioned. Somewhat overlooked. So if they can turn it around, but also they got to try to turn the Gales over, get some transition buckets. You know, anytime you're struggling, they're doing a good job trying to get to the offensive glass. Give the Gales credit. They knotted up at 16 rebounds apiece. And one of the things the Gales mentioned, as we mentioned, Coach Walsh mentioned, they got the match of physicality and keep them off the offensive glass. As you can see right there, the turnovers is very low. The steals are very low. But once again, Joe, as you mentioned, the Peacocks' inability to score the basketball is the difference in the ball game right now.
Should be an interesting second half. We'll see how it shakes out. That's coming up next. You're watching the MAC on ESPN.